Hey guys, it's Kelsey and today is Stretch the Sketch. So this is the sketch we're working with today. And I just thought this is a really good sketch for stash busting. There's so many little layery bits that you can make from any kind of scraps that you have. I thought this would be a fun challenge for me on top of making this a different proportion to make this page with 100% scraps or kind of leftover bits from this collection so far. I do still have 12 by 12s and there still are more pages to come, but I just wanted to look at the scrap pile I've accumulated so far from doing all of these layouts, everything that's left over or things I gutted from previous pages. I just wanted to use to make this layout exclusively. So you may have seen in a previous layout, I basically needed some of this color to mat a couple photos, but instead of taking it off the side, I decided to gut the middle portion. That way I could use the scrap as a frame. So that's kind of why this is already in this shape. And it's convenient because I need a frame for this layout. So kind of what I decided was the next biggest chunk I had was this navy. So I was thinking that maybe whatever size this is kind of a weird proportion, but this is what I would create my Stretch the Sketch design on. But I did kind of just want to show you before we get started why I'm not going to frame this as part of this design, because when I mat it on the 12 by 12, this will end up being the frame. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. So I'm going to end up smushing this 12 by 12 design down onto this weirdly shaped piece of paper. And then I'm gonna end up having to piece this together. So you can see that there's some gaps here just because of the size this scrap is. So I do have some branding strips that I think are just barely long enough to kind of cover the rest of this gap. So I'll trim those down to have a layer top and bottom, and that's going to kind of be the background 12 by 12 design, and then I'll smush this sketch down onto the smaller piece. But I just kind of wanted to show you guys what was going through my head and why I'm working this way on this layout. I think I really love working with scraps, and that's part of why some of you like watching me. So I think this is a fun challenge to just go through and just use things I've saved from other layouts for this. So we're gonna get going. I'm gonna piece together the background really quick, and then we'll start working on just the navy piece. But that's why it's a weird shape. That's why I'm working this way on this layout, and we're going to get started. I'm also inverting this because Bennett Avery's kind of facing this way. So instead of the photo being over here where he's kind of looking off the page, I'm just gonna invert it so he's looking inwards. And then on top of with using scraps, this is what's left. I do have another one because I bought the extra paper pad, but I kind of want to try and use the rest of what's on the first sticker sheet. So this stack of books here, some of these clips. I don't know if I'll get the typewriter on here or not, but I really want to try and use that in my layers. And then I went through some stuff that Allie sent me, some of the extra Felicity Jane stuff. And I have a chipboard #1 and this cute little cactus. This is Avery's 1 month update photo. So I thought the 1 would be appropriate since it's 1 month. And there's this cute little cactus that I gave him as part of one of his baby shower or baby presents. So I just want to layer this little cactus just to carry that theme. So I'll pull these in too, but this is not from this collection. I just want to mention that before we get started. Okay, we're gonna get into the process video. Thank you guys so much. See you in a second. Okay, so like I said, I'm just gonna piece together the background really quick. Obviously there is a massive gap where I need to glue everything down to. So again, I am going to just mat the back of this with some scrap piece of black paper so that there's it's more substantial. And so I'm just gonna get that glued down really quick, and then I'll go ahead and measure out where the branding strips need to be. And then once I kind of have everything so that it's where it's supposed to be, then I will just start working on my layout. But I really wanted to get this part out of the way so that once I was done with my Stretch the Sketch design, you could kind of quickly see what it would look like on the final 12 by 12. So now I'm just trimming up the branding strips. I wanted them to be just shorter than the navy strip. That way hopefully it'll kind of look like it's potentially one larger yellow layer that runs vertically behind the blue piece. So that's my goal. But even if it just looks like 2 yellow strips top and bottom, I think that looks cute, and I think it'll frame the layout nicely once I'm done. But now that that's out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and just focus on my Stretch the Sketch design. I think I measured this and it ended up being like a 9.5 by 8.25 scrap. So that's the proportion that this layout will end up being. I went ahead and inked the blue in my Catherine Pooler Stone Blue ink, and now I decided I would start out by just matting my photo. I definitely want this to be multicolored, all these different scraps I want to get on here, so I'm trying to right away pull in papers that are different colors. I already know I have the papaya and the yellow and the blue as my main colors just from what the 12 by 12 layering looked like. So now that I'm getting down to this portion, I just know I want to continue pulling in all of those colors. So I pulled in this blue and yellow ombre to frame my photo. I think that's really sweet. Bennett just happens to, I keep calling him Bennett. Avery just so happens to be wearing this blue and yellow onesie. So I think it looks really good with these products, and I really thought it was perfect to frame it in that blue and yellow ombre. And now that that's done, I'm just trying to see where I might want that number 1 and the cactus. I went ahead and glued them together, and then I just wrote with my pen month on the cactus pot. That way it says 1 month. I didn't want this to be confusing and someone think that he was 1 year old here. I don't think anyone would make that mistake, but I didn't want the 1 to be confusing, and I just think writing month makes it, oh, it's his 1 month picture, that makes sense. And I decided to layer that on the stack of books sticker. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that down because that's gonna be my main embellishment cluster, just to see how much space that takes up, and then I can kind of layer behind that with the rest of these scraps kind of reaching outwards. I decided I didn't want the stack of books to stick to everything as I was working, so I just cut out the backing of the sticker sheet to stick behind the stack of books. So now that that is down, I can kind of start looking through my scraps and figuring out what I want for these other pieces. I really want to pull in these 2 pieces I gutted from one of the last layouts I did. And I want those to be 2 of the pieces for sure. But I'm just going through and trying to piece everything together. I definitely want to include the rainbow stripe just because there is so many colors going on here. I really want at least one of these pattern papers to kind of include all of those colors so they all seem like they go together and they're cohesive. And now I have several scraps. I'm going to start layering them up here. I really like how in the original some of these are tags, some of them are ticket size, some of them are banner shaped. And I really liked that idea, but once I layered them all up, I kind of liked how all blocky they looked. So I decided to kind of compromise, and instead of trimming these into a bunch of different shapes and layering them up, I decided to just take this last one, which is the rainbow stripe, and trim that into a banner, just so there is a different shape somewhere. But other than that, I'm going to kind of keep the rest of them blocky. I kind of like how that ended up looking. And then because I am turning this to a banner with a hole, I'm using one of my white hole reinforcers, and I'm just stamping it into the papaya ink so I can transfer that color so it's not a plain white tag. I really wanted that orangey pink color to be on the rainbow tag just so you could really see it. So I'm getting that glued down, and then I think I end up threading like pink twine through that because there are a couple pink layers in here. I don't know if I'll end up changing that or not, but I didn't really have a better twine option at the time. So you'll see that in a minute, but I'm going to just turn that, I'm going to punch that hole and turn that into a tag, and that'll be the layer on the end. And I think that looks really cute. So now that I kind of have that, am I going to put, yeah, I couldn't decide if I was going to go and put twine through it or not. I don't know what I just did. Oh, I just taped it. So I'm going to slowly start taping all these layers together. And you can see I'm inking everything with the papaya ink color. I did ink the mat around the photo in my blue ink, but everything else is going to have the papaya ink. So I'm just working my way backwards, trying to get everything glued down. You can see I just had a couple scraps of this papaya paper I decided to piece together to make it look like one larger strip. That's another way I really like to use scraps. So I'm just going to go through and ink everything. I really want to make sure I get a lot of stickers on here too, so I'm kind of trying to think about that as well. I know I got the stack of books on here, which I really liked, but like I mentioned, I really want to get the 2 small clips that were left over on the sticker sheet used up too, and I think those would look cute layered together like I did on a previous page, up in the upper left-hand corner of the photo. If I made a little embellishment cluster there to kind of balance the 1 month cluster, I think that'll be really cute. So I think I'm almost done here. I think this is my last piece, and then I don't know if I glued down my photo yet or not. I don't think I did. In the sketch though, there's not really any layers coming out of the opposite side of the photo, but once I'm looking at this, I kind of feel like I need something to the left of the photo as well. So I do end up going through and pulling in a couple more rainbow scraps to have a rainbow strip on the left side too. I really felt like out of all of these layers, they all kind of go together, but the rainbow stripe seemed a little bit out of place. So by adding some more rainbow on the opposite side of this photo, it kind of frames everything, and I think it makes more sense that way. So now I'm going to glue down my photo with the little book section, and I think I do the other rainbow strip next. I'm trying to remember. I literally just made this page and I still can't remember what steps I did everything in. But I'm evaluating now to try to figure it out. I think I'm going to go in with the other stickers and start my other cluster because I knew I definitely wanted to get those used up. I'm popping one of these clips up on some foam so there's some dimension and so that you could tell they're separate pieces. And then I did add a wood grain piece coming out from behind the books. And I think that looks really cute, but I want to make sure I add that scrap of the wood grain that I trimmed into another cluster. So that's actually going to be the back piece of this cluster up here too. And I think that's really, really cute. And then I was trying to look at the other wood grain pieces to see if there's anything else I wanted to pull in. And I have this one random triangle I ended up not using on the page it was supposed to go on. And I thought it might be nice putting that next to the number 1, kind of pointing at Avery. That way it's like, hey, he is 1 month old today, if it wasn't implied. But I liked that just got that piece used up because I didn't think I was going to use just a random triangle any other time. And it has purpose this way. So now that I kind of have all of that down, I decided to go ahead and mat it on the 12 by 12. That way it could go in my book. But once I glued it down, I was kind of looking at it and I was like, it looks really cute. I really like how it's looking, but it's just not done yet. I think this is adorable. And when it really came together and I pulled back in the background, I was like, oh wow, yeah, I really like that. So that's really cute. But now you can kind of see how much more that rainbow stripe looks out of place. So I think that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to pull in some more rainbow scraps and kind of make it look like there's one more layer over here to the left of Avery. I'm inking that again in the papaya ink. But I didn't have a skinny strip of scrap that was long enough. I had other rainbow bits I could cut into, but I had these 2 little pieces and I was like, you know what, I really want to use these scraps. They might get thrown away otherwise, and I feel like I can make it work for what I need. So you see there is a gap in between. It wasn't as long as I needed, but I was like, hey, I can just put another layer over that or use another sticker or a piece of ephemera there. So that's what I ended up doing. I went back to the sticker sheet and I saw this little so cute sticker. And I really love that because there's several yellow layers to the right of the photo, and then you have the yellow on the top and bottom of this page. But I feel like that piece really helps balance the yellow over to the left side of the page. So I popped that up on some foam. I think it looks really cute there. But now I have this like one random thing that's running off of this blue layer onto the background. So it's like, okay, well, if I'm going to branch something off to the left side off the blue layer, I need to do something on the right side too. So I pulled out my other sticker sheet because I really didn't want to use the typewriter on this page, but I wanted some more stickers, and I pulled in some more of those clips. And I'm just going to do the same thing that I did in the upper corner where I pop one of them up on some foam and I layer them together. I think that looks really cute. And I'm just going to make sure that one of them kind of run off of the blue layer onto the background piece. That way it kind of looks like it wasn't on accident that the so cute runs off the page. So I fiddle around with it a little bit, but now it looks like it makes a little bit more sense to me. But now as I'm looking at it, I'm like, the so cute doesn't look there's enough, like there's something missing from it. And I was like, you know what, well, I added a couple stars. I did that too from the sticker sheet, but I was like, you know what, I have these wood grain pieces in a couple areas. I'm going to pull one of these wood grain banners in and add it underneath the so cute, just so it looks like a more substantial cluster. It's not just over there by itself, but it also kind of makes the wood grain dance around the photo. And I like that too. And that way the wood grain covers up the gap, so I could shift up the so cute so it wasn't covering up that cute little cactus toy. But here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check out everyone else who played along. They're linked in the description, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.